I tell you how glad I am that they finally opened that bridge over 94.
Oh, no. See.
It showed me by like 15 minutes. Yeah.
It is 7 p.m. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If we can start with a moment of silence, please. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just as a reminder, if you happen to have a cell phone on you, please make sure that it is either off or on silent. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call first, please.
Councilmember Williams. Green. Jackson.
Here.
Lawler.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. Do I have a motion to approve of the agenda?
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, first on the agenda, we will have EDC update from Virgie Ammerman. Thank you.
Mayor and City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, thank you for having me this evening. I believe these are, I believe we do this update a couple times a year, so I'm happy to be here and be able to fulfill that update for you. Tonight, I'm just using the talking points of our 10-point Blue Oval Readiness Plan. So I've handed out a copy. I've been told that the print's kind of small, so I tried to put it on a bigger piece of paper. So hopefully that's helpful. What we're doing at the EDC is based on trying to be Blue Oval ready. So some of you have heard that maybe Blue Oval is postponed or not happening. We're choosing to believe it's happening, and we're choosing to believe that if it doesn't happen for some reason, that someone else will be in that space. So either way, we have a tremendous opportunity, a very, very large employer coming to our area, only 10-15 minutes away, depending on how you get there. So we're very excited, and to do that, we want to be ready to be able to have our folks participate in that opportunity. So we have 10 items that we are focusing on, and I'll just quickly go over those. The first is workforce. So we know that this is going to be a great opportunity. We have about 700 people here in the city of Albion that are either unemployed or underemployed, and we would be excited to make sure that they're trained and ready to be a part of this new process, whether they're working at Ford or whether they're working at suppliers, or whether they're working at restaurants or hotels that will have to come into play because we have so much more traffic in the area. So whatever the job opportunity is, we want to make sure those trainings are available. We're partnering with KCC, we're partnering, there's a very specific program that they're using, and we're going to try to use a model of theirs, and So we're very excited about that. We also have a grassroots initiative to actually talk to people about what might be keeping them from being employed. So we're excited to do that. Childcare and transportation. We know that we believe these are two of the barriers to employment as they currently stand. So we're definitely investing in those. The Pulse Group is a regional group that is responsible for investing in more childcare in the area. And I think later in the discussion tonight, you're going to hear a little bit about regional transportation and some of the growth that's happening there. For housing, we're very excited to be in multiple lanes of housing. Tonight, we had an open house, if you will, or an opportunity to meet a developer who is, they're called Rhoda Cooper, and they are applying for LIHTC federal funding to bring low to moderate housing, and it would be at 1337 North Eaton, which is behind KFC across from Family Fare. So they would bring 48 units of housing, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. And they would be a combination of 30% AMI, 60% AMI, and 80% AMI. In other words, the income levels would be between 16,000 a year and about 61,000 a year. So that would be the portfolio of housing they would be offering. Coming alongside their particular housing, they are doing a couple of other things. So if you skip forward to number 8 for financial literacy, they would be bringing, partnering with Huntington Bank, they'll be bringing literacy to their particular housing, which we could benefit the greater community with. They also would be bringing a component of healthcare. So if you look at item number 9, housing can be a driver for almost any one of these. So you can see how critical housing is. So in this particular example, they also are going to have on-site physical and behavioral health, and they're working on those partnerships right now. Other housing, Joe Rebecki came to the event tonight and met with us too, because they would be investing in market rate. And so overall for housing, we need about 1,500 units to be able to accommodate those that are in Albion and those that might come to Albion because of the growth of the Blue Oval. So we need a wide variety of housing. And so Rebecki with ACE, they would be doing market rate. They would be doing housing downtown. They have a piece of property. They have property above the old food hub that they are doing. It's 4 units. So we're currently working alongside them for that project. So all around town, we're looking for places to put housing. So we're very excited about that. Downtown development, we continue to monitor the Big Albion plan, and we continue to monitor other opportunities to engage in the corridors. We know that we have a solid four ways to get in and out of town, and we want to make sure that those are inviting and welcoming. So we're working on those corridors. Entrepreneurs, we have renewed our relationship with the SBDC. They have moved their management. The SBDC is a federal funded program where we get help for entrepreneurs, and it's from Western Michigan. That just happens to be where they're housed. And so they just moved departments. And so we've just reinvigorated that relationship, and they are looking to use Albion as their Calhoun County hub. And so we would be very excited to have them here and use us as their hub. I would be very happy to do that. So we're just beginning those meetings in the last couple of weeks. Industrial retention, attraction, and environmental justice work. A lot of our property needs a lot of attention from an environmental perspective, and every piece of property can be used for something. We just have to identify what's best to use, and then how we can manage the environmental hazards that may exist there and how we can correct those for future use. So we're doing a ton of work on particular sites and then identifying money to work on other sites. We do have a vision of a new East Side Industrial Park. So that would be out Michigan Avenue. If you head out toward the highway, toward the bowling alleys on the right, highways on the left, come back a little bit, look to your left. We're developing between 250 and 500 acres there. That would be a brand new industrial park. Lots of work that's going into that. We need a lot of support from the state, so we're working very hard to unify our approach and make sure that we will accommodate their needs. For leadership, we've been very excited to have the Dale Carnegie program. We won the first set of awards for that was $250,000. And we've had a good number of people from Albion and Marshall participate in that. It's called the Albion ILC. And there's a current class right now, Tuesdays in Marshall. There's another class online that's happening. We've already finished the first tranche of classes. We've already had a number of graduates. Albion College has been a big participant and several businesses downtown. So we're very excited. We have continued opportunity. We'll be working on the next application for that. It's kind of a sister of the Going Pro money, but it's called the Industrial Led Collaborative, and they have opened it up to leadership. They never did leadership before. They only did industry-based training. And so thank God we kind of broke ground on that, and other people are starting to pick up on leadership as an important training tool. We already talked a little bit about financial literacy. I'll also kick in on this, that we know that some of the churches in the area are working very hard on financial literacy, so we're working to partner with them. And also the final one is item number 10. It's sort of an overall view of how we try to do development and how we try to make sure that there's an equitable division of resources. And we're trying to make sure that we hear from everyone in the community to make sure everyone feels involved in the decisions that are made. So we do development work similar to tonight, as we had people come in that would be living in that area that would be able to ask questions directly of a developer. So community engagement is huge when it comes to being able to divide the resources in an equitable manner. We need to be able to talk about what we're doing and be as transparent as possible. So that's our current sort of operations. And I'm just excited to be able to be here and give you an update. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Councilman French.
Thanks. Virgie, I was expecting an update from the EDC, and what I seem to have in front of me is an Albion Engaged Concerned Citizens Consortium document. Can you explain to me how they are connected?
Yes, this document was put together over the summer when I wasn't in the seat, but essentially is the same as the goals of the EDC, and I just haven't had time to change the document.
And so who is in the consortium?
So it's still in the early phases, and it could be anybody that wants to be in a consortium that is considered about.
And I'm asking who's in it?
Nobody's in it, Andy. Nobody's in it right now.
So you wrote this?
I did write it. I signed it.
Okay.
And it is the 10-point plan that the EDC has adopted.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
When I put it together, I didn't want to falsely advertise that I was the EDC when I wasn't.
Okay.
So I put it together and I haven't had time to redo it, but I think it still is the 10-point plan for the EDC.
Councilman Raleigh.
Thank you so much. Are we able to find out who owns property in the 425 in the east?
You can. You can look on the BSNA online website. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I can give you the link. bsaonline.com, and then you can search in the Albion City. And then for those areas in the 425, most of it still belongs in Sheridan Township. So you'd have to search in Sheridan Township. So some belongs to the city, but some belongs to the township.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So in regards to the housing plan that you were talking about, that you had a meeting with, who currently owns that property at 1337 Eaton?
It's 1337 Eaton, North Eaton, and it's a private owner.
So are they willing to sell?
So a housing developer wouldn't start a housing project without being able to have land control. So they've already got an option on that piece of property.
and the name of the company was?
The name of the company doing the development is WODA, WODA Cooper.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, one should Google that company. Because I did, and if you look at the reviews, seems like it's a pretty horrible company. The city of Grand Rapids is having some difficulty with them as well. And so I'm hoping that you know, either they fix their problems or that people find out about what this company has been doing all over the country, especially in the Midwest. It seems like they're building substandard housing that people are complaining about. And it seems that that they are struggling with finding leadership to help address
Point of order.
buildings.
Point of order.
How is that?
This isn't, we're not talking about housing here. We're talking about an EDC update,
Yes. But that was brought up as part of the conversation.
but it's also not on the agenda.
Yes.
I don't know.
Respectfully, it's not on the agenda.
We tried to get on the agenda tonight to have them here to answer questions, but we weren't able to get the documentation around on time.
Any other questions or comments?
Clearly not. We can't get them answered.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we will open up for a public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve opening up our public hearing for the?
You just open the public hearing.
Oh, right. So I will go ahead and open up the public hearing at 7:15 p.m. So we are here to discuss the Michigan Community Development Block Grant, known as CDBG, for our Housing Development Authority, for the local livability homeowner improvement project, also known as CHILL. Director Ian.
Good evening, Mayor.
Info.
Good evening, Council. So what you have in front of you is a CDBG resolution to authorize the city manager and I to apply on behalf of the city for MISHDA's 2023 CDBG Housing Improving Local Livability Grant. We're applying for $500,000 in assistance for homeowner improvement plans. This is the first year MISHDA is doing this particular program, though MISHDA is no stranger to CDBG home improvement plans that we've done with the city in the past. We are looking for you to approve this authorizing resolution certifying the city manager as the responsible party for our correspondence and our application with MISHDA. And we will be submitting this application in a week from today and hearing back on whether or not we'll be able to start this program, I believe by December 21st. And we are recommending approval.
Do we need to take public comments in regards to?
So with the public hearing, just ask the public if there's anybody that wants to comment on this particular item.
Is there anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to this specific item?
Is this for a grant to help homeowners upgrade their property?
Mhm.
Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other comment? Yep, we'll go ahead and close our public hearing at 7:18 p.m. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2023-28?
So move. Support.
Questions or comments from council?
Can I just add,
Yep, go ahead.
if I can just add, so I'm very excited to be applying for this opportunity. It's another resource that we can provide to our residents to do the necessary home improvements to their home. If they do meet the income requirements, they are able to apply for as less as $10 up to $40,000. So that could go a long way in home improvements. There are two aspects of this program. You can do the home rehabilitation, or you can do the demolition and rebuilding of new affordable housing here in our community. When talking with Director Arnold, we felt since it is a priority of council to identify resources that current residents can take advantage of to do the necessary improvements, we decided to apply for the home rehabilitation portion of this for this project. So we're looking to bring more resources into the community to expand off of the work that Shauna Gamble has been doing as the lead grant coordinator to do lead abatement, as well as the EDC and the My Hope MISHDA program as well. So I'm looking, I will recommend approval of this resolution.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Public comment. At this time, if there's anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to a specific agenda item only, you may do so at this time. We just ask that you give us your name, your address, and 3 minutes is yours.
Good evening. Karen Yankee, 104 Irwin Avenue. I'm in the 3rd precinct. I'm speaking in regards to agenda item 11B. I recommend the reinstatement of the following Albion Economic Development Corporation board members: Scott Evans, Ed Haas, Mark Newman, Annette Norris. I feel that economically, ethically, and legally, this action would be in the best interest of my beloved city of Albion. Good governance requires accountability, responsibility, transparency, and above all, the rule of law. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to stand and address council? All right. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Support.
City Clerk Domingo.
Excuse me, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion.
We already have a motion and support on that needs to be addressed.
The motion, but now we need
To go into closed session excluding the mayor. Due to item M and the supporting documentation that we have of ethics violation.
So we already have a motion and support to go into closed session.
We didn't do a roll call on it yet, so you need to do a roll call and then go
And I
into the
don't see how
motion.
excluding me and to go into closed session for the,
So point,
Decisions getting made.
the point of order, go back to what you've already did, which was got your support on your motion, and go around and ask individually now, instead of saying all in favor.
I was gonna do that.
Yeah, but go ahead, but
I
see,
know
if you
it's gonna
start that
go-
with him, then,
No, I know, I'm trying to
yeah, just
make
help
sure
you
we're
out.
following the process.
Yeah.
City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Jackson,
No,
Lawler,
What, wait a minute, what were you asking?
To go into closed session.
Whether or not to go into closed session.
With the amendment?
No,
No, the amendment's not on the table yet. The amendment's not on the table.
so we're going into,
At all?
no, so that's what we're
No.
going, we're going into close, asking to go into closed session,
Okay,
so.
yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes,
Williams,
No.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes,
you didn't get Lawler.
no, she did.
She did.
She was second.
She said.
She said yes.
I do not understand what we was asking.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay.
5 votes.
Going into closed session, 7:23 p.m.
Her supplying him with information.
These two are the thermostat.
We open our meeting at 7:41 PM, 7:42. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call first, please.
Councilmember Reed.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
French,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. Do I have a motion to approve of the consent calendar items?
So moved.
Support. In your package, you have the minutes to our October 11th study session, October 16th study session and regular session, and the October 23rd special meeting. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the city attorney retained conflict counsel for the Haas versus Albion lawsuit?
I'm gonna make a motion. And the motion is, I would like to, hire for Jay, Sharps to represent the city council in the matter of Haas versus City of Albion, and to direct the city manager and the city attorney to recuse themselves from any involvement in the litigation.
What I'm asking for anyway, so, yeah.
So what was what attorney?
Peggy Schultz.
Peggy Shaw. Basically what they said already, just wanted it right.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the board and commission appointments?
I have an amendment.
So moved.
We got an amendment.
Promotion.
You can't amend it until you have a motion.
So we got a motion. Now you can it.
Well, there hasn't been.
Well,
Isn't that the way the protocol? You make a motion, then someone offers an amendment to the motion?
I think you motion and second, and then someone can make an amendment.
Okay. That's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
So I move that we approve the 5 people to the appropriate boards, to George Strander, reappointment to the Planning Commission, Annette Norris, reappointment to the Albion EDC, Ed Haas, reappointment to the Albion EDC, Mark Newman, reappointment to the Albion EDC, and Scott Evans, reappointment to the Albion EDC. Now we need a second.
I support.
Support.
Councilwoman Welling.
Yes, this is kind of crazy, but, so I want to make the amendment to say, Greg Strander. Okay, George, I'm sorry. Reappoint him to the planning commission. And I move to reject the others, Norris, Haas, Newman, and Evans. They are not currently on the board, so I don't know how they can be reappointed. We are currently in litigation. So,
Support.
Any second? What, that's what I'm saying, so I'm looking, you said.
No, I know,
second.
so we have a motion of support initially to approve. We had Councilman Lawler who made an amendment to that support. Now, does Councilman French have to agree to that amendment or?
No, it's so, like Councilman Williams seconded Councilwoman Lawler's amendment, so you would deal with the. You would deal with the amendment vote first, and then you would deal with the main motion.
So then we are voting on the
We're having a
amendment.
discussion first.
Yep, so Councilman French.
Thank you. So if I understand, Councilwoman Lawler's concern is the word reappointment. I would argue that our mayor has the authority to appoint whoever she sees fit to bring names before this council to approve. The four folks I've mentioned before, Ms. Norris, Mr. Haas, Mr. Newman, Mr. Evans, have years of experience on the EDC prior to them not being on the EDC. And so they bring to the EDC a wealth of experience in the workings of economic development in the city of Albion. And so that's why I think we should approve them.
Councilman Lawler.
Thank you so much. As I said, we got a pending case with these former EDC members. I do believe we should let the court decide if they should be reinstated. Because reappointed, because they are not, how can you reappoint somebody and they're not there? But besides that, we are in litigation with them. So I think we should let the court decide if they should come back. Thank you so much.
But when it comes to the type of applicants that we are looking at to fill these positions, these are exactly the type of individuals that we want on the EDC board.
So you don't care if we in litigation?
No, I'm just saying these are the type of individuals we want to see on the EDC board, given their professions that they are currently in and what they can bring to the table. And I get your concern. But we also just rehired Ms. Ammerman as a contractor.
We don't have nothing to do with they want.
Councilman French.
Would it ease Councilwoman Lawler's mind if we removed Mr. Haas from this list? Because the litigation is regarding his particular position and not the positions of the other three.
So that question was to you, Councilman Lawler.
Oh, I already know what I'm gonna do. So, what you saying to me, no. I'm just saying what I'm going to do. I don't know about nobody else.
All right. City Clerk, can I go?
Can you
Recap.
read the current motion that we're voting on so we're clear, please? Sorry.
Oh,
We're
so,
voting on the amendment, right?
yes.
Correct.
Can you recite it so we're aware of what we're voting, please?
Are you asking City Clerk Domingo or myself?
Whomever can read the amendment.
So from my understanding, Councilwoman Lawler made a motion to amend Councilman French's motion to approve of the applications with the amendment of removing the 4 EDC applications. So there was a motion and a support of it.
And approving Mr. Strander.
Yes.
Okay, so approve Mr. Strander and then the other 4 will not be appointed. All right, thank you.
City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
No,
Williams,
Yes,
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
No. So that motion failed. Can I make a motion to at least approve the Strander's application?
wait, no,
They did not.
the amendment was to appoint George and nobody else.
Right.
So now we approve George.
Okay.
No. You voted on your amendment.
Right.
Right.
And the
Now you vote
amendment,
on the main motion.
right, but the main motion as amended
Yeah.
is approving Mr. Strander and
Right.
nobody else.
Right.
Right.
And we did that.
No, we haven't done that.
We did,
Oh.
yes, you did. That's why he asked her to repeat it. And this is what we were voting on. So you guys got lost up in there. You didn't hear what she said.
Let's clear it up. So here's how I see this. You had an initial motion to approve all five. You made a motion to just vote on, to amend the original motion to just vote on George and remove the others. So the original you approved the amendment, which is now just George. So you need to still vote on approving George.
Okay, so this is just George.
This is your vote now that your amendment passed, you're now voting to just approve the appointment of George Strander to the planning, excuse me, yeah, the planning commission.
City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
Yes.
French, Williams,
Yes,
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. We have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2023-06.
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder.
I would defer to,
Oh, Attorney
Attorney
Harder,
Harder?
sorry.
So this is the ordinance that we went over at our last meeting. We set up, as council's aware, we've had, I don't want to necessarily say ongoing issues, but we've had issues with block parties in the city. People have come before council and it's kind of, it hasn't had a lot of structure to it and the public safety department's had issues with them. So we've put in a permit process for block parties. We're requiring that they have to submit it at least a month ahead of when the party is going to be, so we don't get any of these last minute requests for approval to council. The council is going to set a permit fee at its next meeting via resolution. People who are in default to the city are not eligible for a permit, and that would mean unpaid taxes, unpaid utilities, things like that. There's going to be an application process. We'll develop an application that'll be available to the public after December 6th. Just to highlight some of the things, there has to be the date, time, location, who's going to be in charge of the block party, or at least the responsible party. 51% of the property owners on the streets that are requested to be closed for the block party have to sign a petition form saying that they're in favor of having it. We need to have a copy of the applicant's homeowner's insurance policy. They're gonna sign a block party agreement that will go along with the application packet, and they will have to sign an attestation that alcohol will not be sold without a license issued by the Liquor Control Commission. If they are gonna sell alcohol, a copy of the license issued by the MLCC will have to accompany the application. The application will be reviewed by Public Services, Finance, and Public Safety. And assuming it meets all those department approvals, it'll come to the city council for approval. The street barricades will be available if there's a request to close off streets. Persons who are not participating in the block party will still must still be able to access their home if it's within the barricaded area. Persons organizing and participating in the block party cannot block the streets with anything other than the city barricades. For the reason that people that are not participating still need to be able to access their homes. And number two, if emergency vehicles need to get through, if there's a police or fire emergency, they need to be able to traverse the street. The streets are not going to be closed past 11 p.m. And so we've got that in there, and they cannot be closed earlier than 9 a.m. There can't be more than 100 attendees. They're still subject to all the other applicable ordinances like noise violations and disturbing the peace, things like that. If something were to happen during a block party, like a large fight breaking out or something, the chief of police has a discretion to revoke a permit on the spot if he determines that it's a health, safety, and welfare issue for the citizens. Violating, if somebody has a block party without getting a permit, it is a misdemeanor. Anybody who violates any section of the access to street portion, that is a civil infraction. And as I indicated to council, today's the second reading, so the effective date is December 6th.
Question or comment for Attorney Hartman? No? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Waller,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson. Yes. And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve a 2023-26 resolution for the Albion Community Foundation to authorize myself and the city clerk to sign the agreement with the Albion Arts Commission?
So move.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the Arts Commission of the City of Albion, they have a quorum now and they are actively meeting and working to bring more awareness to the arts here in our community. So they have applied for a grant through the Community Foundation and they have secured $4,500 to help schedule different events and bring awareness of the various visual arts. Like I said, to our community. So they will hold these functions at Superior Arts, which is located downtown at 302 South Superior. So included in your packet is the formal grant agreement, and it does require acceptance of the agreement, and we need to sign and get it back to the Community Foundation so that we can receive the grant funds. So we are just recommending approval.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson. Yes. Waller
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2023-27, resolution authorizing notice and intent and declaring intent to reimburse for drinking water state revolving loan fund?
So move.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As I shared in the study session a little earlier this evening, so the city, we did receive formal notification that we have secured $9.6 million in grant funding through Eagle and a little over $500,000 in a loan to go towards water system improvements. So that will be lead line replacement, improvements to our water treatment plant, and then the building of the second water tower. So the total project cost is $19 million. So we still need to come up with 9.1 million to cover the remaining costs of that project. So tonight, we included this resolution will allow us to puts out to the community that we anticipate advertising to sell bonds to cover initial costs to get this project going. We are on a very tight deadline, and that's per Eagle's requirements. So this will cover the cost for the design engineering, right-of-way permitting, legal, fiscal, and administrative fees. So total, we're looking at $1,300,003. However, if you see in the resolution, we have listed up to $3 million. So in speaking with our bond counsel, we always anticipate a little higher just because things, costs could come back higher than what we originally estimated. But if we, let's say we only advertise 1.3 million and it came in a little over, we would not be able to then borrow that excess amount. So we always go a little higher than what our estimates are, just to give us that, that buffer. So we are just recommending approval so we can move forward with this project. This is very exciting news for our community. It will be a lot of infrastructure improvements to our water system. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for City Manager Snyder? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson. Yes. Waller.
Yes.
Davis
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2023-29 to appoint Councilwoman Davis as the representative for City of Albion to the Calhoun County Transportation Authority?
So moved.
Support.
So as we discussed earlier, we have been bringing information to council in regards to the initiative to bring countywide transportation. We're at the point where we now need to send representatives from each of the communities that are buying in to the countywide transportation. There's a lot of hard work that has to go in to make this happen. And so we need to have an individual who can go take detailed notes and bring back to council, report back on updates. So this is just making it official that Councilwoman Davis is our representative. Questions or comments?
Thank you.
City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yeah.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes, and thank you, Councilwoman Davis. Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the Whiteman proposal for our water systems improvement project?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So included in your packet is an updated proposal. I believe it was our first October meeting. Mickey Bittner with Whiteman Associates came and gave you all an update on the water system improvement project and then gave you the first proposal, which was for $200,000. That would allow him and his team to get started on the project. As I said, we are on a very tight timeline. So included in your packet is a proposal to cover the remaining costs for that project. So we are looking at $2,709,000 for that. They are the engineer firm that will help us with the design and get us to where we to the point of construction. So we are recommending approval and the cost will be covered through the funding that we receive through Eagle and then as well as probably when we anticipate selling bonds to cover the remaining 9.1 million.
Questions for City Manager Snyder? Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Councilwoman Reed, can you kindly put your phone away?
I am trying to. I've got a new phone and it keeps not cutting off. I have been pushing off, pushing off, and pushing off. and
Maybe
it's still
Councilman
not.
Williams might be able to help.
Would you like to keep it in?
No, Councilman Williams maybe help you.
Yeah, let me try that.
I have pressed this thing power off 6 times and the power is not going off.
I got you, Mr.
So she's welcome to turn it off or keep it. I don't care.
Do I have a motion to approve of the Grand Luco Miller proposal for the EDC investigation?
So moved. So you want to just first discuss and approve? So, I mean.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So it's not discussion.
I think we should discuss it before you approve it.
We will.
I support.
So you can move to approve it and second it and have discussion on it, and if you decide you want to amend the motion, you can do it that way. Or you can have discussion and then make a motion thereafter. You can do it either way.
So Attorney Hernandez, do you want to take the lead on this discussion?
Sure. So as council's aware, we came to council previously for approval for an RFP at council's request for the EDC investigation. The city received only one bid on this matter from Grand Luco Miller. Grand Luco is a larger firm. They have offices throughout Michigan. They're very reputable. They have a lot of municipal experience. So I would certainly have confidence in them performing this, what we outlined as the project, but there's 2 concerns that I have. Number one, their project cost is double what the city authorized. The city authorized a cap of $10,000 and their cost estimate is 20. Looking at their hourly billing, that would mean that at 10,000, they'd be performing 44 hours worth of work on this. At 20,000, it'd be 88. That is a lot of time to be spending on something like this. I think 44 hours is a lot of time, but the other thing is they did not include in their proposal the required affidavit that we requested as part of the proposal. So if council decides to approve this proposal, it should be contingent on 1, maintaining the cap of $10,000, and number 2, them providing the requested affidavit as part of the proposal. If council decides not to approve the proposal, my suggestion would be then that we put it back out, say for another 60 days, maybe we can find some more places to post it and maybe garner a few more people willing to participate in the bid.
Any comments?
So I would like to amend the motion that we accept this proposal with the two concerns raised by our city attorney. First, that the amount of money spent on this investigation shall not exceed $10,000. And that they provide us with the necessary affidavit as required in the bid process.
Support.
We have further discussion? City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Jackson. Yes. Waller,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed, and Mayor Snyder.
Their project online.
So there is a request to approve.
That was the vote on the amendment.
Oh,
Now you need to vote on your main motion.
okay, sorry. You're voting on the main motion now. City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Jackson. Yes. Waller,
Yes.
Davis,
What? So we're voting on the motion to approve of this with the, we already did with the two
Okay.
amendments. Now we're
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
yes. Next is a request to excuse the Councilman Waller from the October 16th council meeting.
So moved.
Support.
We have questions or comments on this?
I have comments.
Yes, Councilman Reed.
Because before I wasn't excused. And I came down here. As you know, and Dave finally came down and he wanted,
This is Lawler's.
this is Lawler.
This is Lawler's.
Yours is
It is,
next.
yours is next.
Go ahead. My mind is next.
Excuse me.
City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Waller,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Next is our motion to approve Councilwoman Reed's.
So moved.
Support.
Now I will tell my story. I have been on this council for 4 terms. I have missed 2 meetings, I think, in the whole, 8 to 12 years anyway. They finally came down and he invited the city to come, the council to come and plant flowers. I went out with Dave to Holland Park. We planted flowers. That afternoon, I went with him and got people to Rotary at 4 o'clock to the cemetery and we planted flowers. In the process of planting flowers, I knew I had the meeting, so I told him at 5:30, I've got to go because I got to get ready for the 6 o'clock meeting. Coming up the hill and where I had been on my toe for so long, it had started to swell because I've had back surgery. So I stopped down by here as I'm leaving the cemetery from planting flowers to let them know that I was going home. I probably would have made it to the study session, but I would be here for the meeting. Nobody was here. I called and left a message on your phone and told you that I would not be, I might not be at the meeting. Anyway, when I got home, my toe was swollen up. I'm trying to wrap it up and it's aching. So I just said, not going to the meeting. 2 meetings in 12 years. I don't think it's bad to miss, but I was not excused from the meeting until now. I called down and said, you know, listen, if I had just missed a meeting, I'd missed a meeting, but it wasn't that I couldn't make a meeting. I was trying to, but because of my toe. So I've never known a group to not excuse you from 1 meeting.
Well, typically, as we all know, somebody needs to let either myself know or the city manager know.
Have you provided me with a number to how to get in touch with you? No.
I have your
you
cell
have
phone
not.
number. I've texted you before.
When?
I have your phone number in my phone and
I don't have yours in mine.
I apologize. But please know that, myself and City Manager Snyder typically leave our offices at 5 o'clock, and I'm sure so does City Manager. City Clerk Domingo, as we try to get a little food before we come to these long meetings. And for myself, I'm just usually traveling from Jackson here. But there is ways to get in contact with us, and like I said, I have everybody's cell phone number in my phone, and so just ask that somebody get a hold of myself or the city manager, because I usually ask her if she's heard from anybody. And so that's just courtesy. So, Attorney Harkness.
I don't.
So I think moving forward for council procedurally, if we have a council member missing, the agenda item should be addressed. The council can discuss whether or not someone has provided reason that they're not there or not there, and council can then vote up or vote down, approve or disapprove. I think that's probably the best and simplest solution to prevent this issue from coming up in the future.
Councilman Waller.
Isn't that procedure for us to vote in the council meeting to excuse or not excuse?
Well, they voted to not excuse.
No, we didn't vote to not excuse. We didn't
No,
vote.
they didn't vote.
You haven't voted yet, but I was just saying, isn't that procedure? You just don't
Two meetings.
say like Nicola said. Don't excuse. You do it in a formal way, right? Colin?
That's what I just said. Okay, yeah.
Well, typically, like in the years that I've been in the seat, if I don't hear from somebody and if city manager Snyder doesn't hear from them, I usually ask, I said, did anybody hear? And then we make a motion to excuse. And since we didn't hear, there wasn't that motion. So if that's a consensus that we would all like, just every meeting, regardless if we've heard or not heard, it can be brought up.
Yeah, that's the rules.
So did we take a vote on that? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the 2024 council meeting dates that are in your packet?
So move.
Support. City Manager Snyder?
Yes, just one change I want to note. So the two meetings for January, they will be on the second and fourth Monday of the month due to how the New Year holiday falls. We've pushed it back. We've decided to push it back to allow everyone to enjoy their holiday, and we'll start fresh on January 8th.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo.
Councilmember French,
Yeah.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed.
Yeah.
Reed.
We can't hear. They'll get talking. Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the EDC interlocal agreement?
So move. I mean,
Support.
thank you.
Attorney Hartman?
I think most of council is familiar with this before. This is the agreement between the city and the EDC to have the EDC CEO act as the housing lead collaborator, kind of spearheading housing initiatives in the city. I have gone back and forth several times with EDC's attorney, Mr. Nelson Carr, and this is the final product. The EDC signed off on this at the end of August. And just to give you a couple of it's a 5-year agreement. There's no out-of-pocket cost to the city. The responsibilities of the housing collaborator under Section 3, to give you a couple of highlights of developing housing strategies, liaising with developers and investors, leading funding identification, acting as spokesperson for housing development efforts, and providing reports and updates as needed. And so those are the basic highlights, and I would recommend approval.
Should we just change the effective date to today's date?
Yes, July, on the first page, July 10 should read 11/6.
And the last page, number 2.
Yes.
Any questions or comments for Attorney Pettis? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. All right, next we have to discuss the ethics violation complaints that were given to us by 2 citizens in the community. In the packet, we have a list of the violations that have been set forth. I will go ahead and read the numbered violations. Number 1, Councilmember Lynn Reed is repeatedly violating the independence of city boards and commissions, taking actions intended to influence the EDC board proceedings. So per our ethics ordinance, that is section J. Section J reads, members of the city council shall, except when the council member is a member of the subordinate public board, limit their participation in the proceedings of subordinate boards, committees, and commissions to the communication of requested information and providing factual information relevant to the discussion at hand,
Point of order.
and shall not otherwise attempt to individually influence the deliberations or outcomes of the proceedings.
Okay, point of order. Mayor, is this a ethics hearing?
No,
Okay, so this doesn't fall under the guidelines of an ethics hearing?
but we need to address,
No, I'm just asking. My question was, does this fall under the requirements for the ethics hearing?
I guess I could,
It's just a yes or no.
I will turn that over to our attorney.
If this isn't currently a hearing, it's no, right? And we can go forward after. I just want to have clarification so anybody in the gallery that's listening or anybody at home that's watching is aware that this is in fact not an ethics hearing.
Attorney Harris.
So our ordinance has 2 separate procedures that are contemplated for when there's an ethics violation. If there's a suspected ethics violation, the ordinance reads as follows: a council member shall intervene when the council member learns of actions of another council member that appear in violation of the section. Upon acquiring reasonable suspicion of a violation of the section, a council member may request that the mayor meet personally with the council member to notify them of the suspected misconduct and attempt to resolve the issue. In the event the mayor is suspected of violating the ordinance, said meeting may be held with any 2 members of council. That's kind of the informal first option. The second option is in the event the meeting as described in subsection N1, which is what I just read, does not satisfactorily resolve the issue, or in the event the suspected council member has repeatedly violated the section, or if the violation is viewed to be especially serious, any 3 council members may call for a public hearing before the council to determine whether the alleged violation has occurred, and if so, what sanctions, if any, should be imposed. Said public hearing shall be scheduled within 30 days of the date. The 3 council persons notified the mayor pro tem, the city attorney, and the city manager in writing of their call for a public hearing. Said public hearing shall be held not more than 60 days from the date of the notice provided to the mayor, the pro tem, the city attorney, and the city manager. So that's the procedure for an ethics violation.
Okay, so this is really just a slanderous attack against members of council who voted differently than other members. You don't have to answer that. It was rhetorical for the most part, but I wanted it to be on record.
So.
Yep.
Okay, my suggestion to council would be, as we're all aware, I think several of the issues outlined here in the materials in the packet and the materials on the counter are the subject of pending litigation. My fear is that if council gets into this, either at this meeting or at a public hearing in the future, that it could put the city at a disadvantage relative to that litigation. You've got conflict counsel stepping in tomorrow. I would respectfully suggest that you table this until a future meeting. You can always take it up again at another meeting, but you've got your procedure in the ordinance, but I think the other problem is I don't want you to potentially walk yourselves into a disadvantage with your pending case.
Can we make a motion? What is a motion for? And this is, discussion.
So we can. Because part of the ordinance is that these have to be addressed if somebody brings them forward. This was just a way to address it. So I'm okay, you know, if.
I would like to make a motion to table this discussion. Indefinitely until, and we can always bring it back to the table, I guess. Just table the discussion.
But the table.
Up under the advice of our attorney.
So it's just a discussion.
It's a discussion.
Table the discussion.
We're gonna table the, I'm making a motion to table the discussion.
Discussion.
What am I missing?
So do we need to set the time frame?
No, she made a motion to table it indefinitely.
So we can bring it back to the table at any time.
Yeah, so it's just so council's aware, I've had a lot of people ask me about the timeframes on this. There's somehow council got under the impression that there's a 30-day time period from the date of the suspected violation. That's not when the clock starts. The clock starts when 3 council members provide in writing the notice of a call for a public hearing on the ethics violation. At the time that that happens, that's when your 30-day clock starts running to set a date for the hearing. And then the hearing has to occur within 60 days of that written notice. So you could always bring this up again, say, you know, if you decide next month, you want to take this up again, you take it up next month, there's nothing lost.
So we have a motion to table. And a support.
Doesn't need a support for it.
Who's the support?
We don't need this.
You don't need one.
Yeah, we're just tabling. Do we have discussion?
Nope.
Nope.
That's what tabling does, it just shuts it all down.
Do we need to take a full vote on it?
I would just vote on it just to err on the side of caution.
Okay. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Waller,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do we have any future agenda items? Attorney Hartnett.
I was contacted by Eagle. And you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember what the current acronym stands for, but it's what was the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Basically, they need to do some testing wells on the former Harvard site. And so I'm gonna be a representative from Eagle already sent me an agreement for them to enter and access the property and do the test wells. And so I'm gonna bring that to council at your next meeting. They're worried that there are contaminants from the site going to the river, and so they need to get in there and do those.
So I emailed you all Attorney Hartness's evaluation that we need to get turned into me this Friday. Councilwoman, well, I don't know if you're able to pick up hard copies on Friday, but I can, download. Okay, so, if you're doing them on paper, can you make sure we do with them in pen? Because what I have to do is then scan and then put them in a file. So everybody else, please make sure that you get those to me by this Friday at 5. So I emailed you all last week with those. Okay,
I like that one.
any other future agenda items?
I think Councilmember Williams asked for an update on the strategic goals. I'm in the process of preparing that and I will bring that
Yeah,
up.
and we were supposed to have at this meeting, we discussed it. And we discussed allowing more time so that, you know, you guys were out of town, she was out of town. We didn't want to put that time constraint on, the city manager.
I appreciate it.
Any other future agenda items? All right, public comment. At this time, if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so. You just come forward, give us your name and address. 3 minutes is yours.
Yeah, just get both of me. His name. Good picture, right?
Being no public comment. The manager's report. I'm sorry.
We'll wait for council comment.
I just have a few things to share. There's no formal report in the packet this time. A lot of good things going on in the city. It's been a very busy, last week was very busy. We had our first event for our new fun and engagement committee. We had our Halloween potluck. Thank you, Councilmember Williams, for stopping in and joining us. But we have created this subcommittee to start doing fun things here in our day-to-day work that we do, and as well as continuing to serve our residents. So thank you, Director Avant, for working to get that created, and all of the members in finance who have really stepped up to get that going. I do want to, it was referenced earlier during the EDC presentation. So I received a meeting request last week to meet with Motor Cooper, the developer with the proposed housing development. They are requesting a pilot for this project, and they wanted to get it on this tonight's meeting agenda. However, with my first meeting being last Monday with them, I did not feel comfortable that's not something you rush through to get on a meeting agenda. I wanted to make sure I vetted and met with my staff, gathered data to then provide to you, because essentially council, you guys will make that final decision on if that's something we want to award. They are working to meet a MSHDA deadline. I believe it's December 1st. So since our ordinance requires 2 readings, we will need to schedule a special meeting. We're looking to do next Monday. I believe it's the 13th. So if you're unable to attend, please let me know as soon as possible, and I will throw out a few other dates so that we can move forward with their request. Outside of that, that's all I have.
Councilmember comments.
Council member comments. We have a lot of students here in the gallery today from Eddie Visco's community development class. And I know they have to speak to us as a requirement. So I know, you know, it's 8:30, but if we can afford to spare a little bit of time to have conversation with them and help to answer any of their questions, I know they will find it extremely helpful. Thank you.
They're looking out.
Can we do that at Malibu?
They have to go home and get their rest.
I'm not slow. You got your hand raised?
I had my hand.
Thank you so much. There is a document before us. And this document, it's an email document,
Yes.
and
So I'm gonna have to check the agenda.
I'm gonna do this very carefully with my city attorney. Am I able to talk about this document?
You know, I would be very careful for the same reason that we tabled the other ethics matters. I'm happy to discuss it with you after the meeting, but
Okay, well, I'm gonna try. There's a document in front of us that's dated October 11th. And it is from our mayor to Mr. Haas, who we are fighting with, Mr. Haas and Mrs. Norris. Who we are one of the people that we are in litigation with. This document that our Mayor Snyder sent. It was asking Mr. Haas and Ms. Norris, could they please pass on to their attorney to see if this was reason enough to get an injunction. It was done through her private email, which that is a violation of ethics. Am I right, Cole? Which one is it? I know it's a violation.
So council decides whether or not there's an ethics violation following a hearing and a vote. There are several provisions under the ethics ordinance, so you know, what I would say is, I think what you're asking is what provision could be applicable to that situation, and one such provision could be working for the common good of the people of Albion and not for a personal interest.
So, with that being said, I just, I want to look to you to be accountable. I'm just speaking personally for me. This seems like, just to me, a cahoots. I have no idea why you sent it, knowing that we are back and forth. Also, this document was sent out. Our city attorney was in the loop with this. So he found out October 23rd. Didn't forward it to me. Is what I'm looking at right here. It got forwarded to our city manager November 3rd. And I was just wondering why, part of this, why we got it so late when you got it the 23rd and then give it to council to November the 3rd. But I think this was inappropriate to send an email to city business with your private email. And knowing that we are in litigation, you know, I just don't understand why you would pass on anything when you are supposed to uphold the city of Albion.
Yes, and the reason why I sent that, so let me kind of go back to, we all know that our city emails don't always work the best, and so I was trying to find his email address and it wouldn't pop up. So I checked my Gmail, not really thinking clearly. I just sent him that email. Now, this is not confidential information. It was information that was sent to the entire EDC board. Knowing that we are currently in a lot, I know. Knowing that we're currently looking at, and we just approved having to spend money for outside litigation, I was trying to save the taxpayers that money to pay for outside counsel. Because not knowing, I just sent it, thinking that that could put a stop to all this and save us all time and money. So that was what I was trying to do. Again, that wasn't confidential information. That was an email that the entire EDC board received.
But you do know that we're not supposed to use our personal email, right?
Again, I apologize for that, but I tried finding his email on my city account, and because it had been so long, it didn't pop up. And we know that happens.
So why would you give the enemy this favor?
Why would I what?
Why would you give him this? Why would you give him information, period, knowing that we?
But it was EDC information, it's not city information. And so again, that was.
EDC part of the city?
But the EDC, that was public information that went out to the entire board. So
It just
wasn't-
says Ed Haas and Annette Norris, that's all it says. It don't
I
say.
forwarded it to them, seeing if that might be able to put a stop to all this. Trying to save the taxpayers money for other things.
But did you realize that that was a violation? Did you know that? Did you supposed to know that?
We just did.
Attorney Hartness.
So, just so council's aware, I was copied on an email on October 23rd, and the same day. I forwarded it to the city manager and had a conversation with the city manager because we were both concerned about all the ethics violations. That we perceived, or I shouldn't say violations, ethics issues that we perceived were going on. Amongst the city council and as I've spoken with some of you. The city manager and I discussed consulting with MML to bring a trainer. To present to city council to try to address all of these matters, including the ones in this email to the city at the same time. I have to say, I resent the idea. Just to use Councilwoman Lawler's term, cahoots. As council's aware, I went in and defended the city successfully against a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction. I would say to characterize our office having some sort of nefarious involvement in supporting litigation against the city is untrue, because if that were the case, we would not have been successful with that motion. And so we have represented the city objectively and professionally, and so just want to make council aware of that. If you have questions, I'm always happy to answer them, but.
Councilman Muller.
Okay, thank you so much, Colin. But I just feel like when you, on here, on this piece of paper I'm looking at, it says that you sent our city manager something. So you knew something, probably, I'm guessing. If you sent it to her on the 23rd, why didn't you send it to all of us? Because anything that you get about any litigation, you always say, hey, this came through my office. Let me know if you have any questions. So why, that I got a problem with the city receiving it on the 23rd, but council didn't receive it until the 3rd. That's my problem. As far as you go, but yeah, you should be held accountable for. I don't know if you are in cahoots. I don't know, but this paper looks like it is.
Wow.
But also it's kind of convenient that you get to talk about what was on that line item that we were told not to talk about, but we can't talk about the other stuff, which I'm gonna hold to that.
Okay, you can, but I'm just letting you know, this right here speaks volume to all of them, to all of us that is in this room. Everybody just know that we are in litigation with Mr. Haas.
And we're in litigation because of the actions of
Okay,
the
but
council.
you sent him something.
So stop. All right, we're gonna stop.
Okay, I just want to say that, I just want to hold you accountable.
And we'd like to hold everybody accountable too.
Okay. So,
If I can, yes, I received from Attorney Harkness at the end of the day on the 23rd. Since the attorney reached out to me, I have reached out to the MML as well as Greg Guchow, who came in and did our strategic planning. They offer training courses. I did not send it to the full council because that does not, policing council for ethical behavior does not fall within my roles and responsibility. So that's why I did not send it to the council.
yeah, I was.
I did reach out to MML. I'm hoping to bring you all info on potential trainings. Because I think we all need to check ourselves. I think we need to do what's best for the city of Albion. And I think with starting with that training will be a big step in the right direction. So I will bring that information to council at a future meeting.
Councilman Muller.
Thank you so much. We have been through training after training after training. Everybody know where they stand at. They really do. I believe that they do. But no, this is not acceptable. No, it's not, because we have been told time and time again not to use our personal emails.
Mayor.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Snyder. I mean, I'm gonna go with you tonight, Cullen, of what you've asked for, okay? And that was not to continue to go on and on. about different ethic violations. But yes, of course, we all know around the table. And I hear even my council member individual on the other side of me, that when we speak, it makes us look bad. But what we've been doing is that we're trying to put blame on the wrong individuals for what is taking place. With a crowd like this, like I always said before, it's a shame that we have to get it this way. When these ethic violations come on there, and then the 4 individuals that the council decided to remove. Then we have our attention, but that's fine. But tonight should have been a night where we could explain everything to you of what has really taken place, so you could get the gist of everything. It is not good to leave you hanging this way. And with my role of Mayor Pro Tem, that was going to be my job tonight to do that. But I will never do anything to hurt our city when we have to go into court tomorrow. But I will bring the stuff out that is yet going on, because it's not right at all. So all of the individuals who are saying you don't have to do this and it shouldn't be this way, whatever, there's a lot going on and you guys don't really know what it is. And the truth needs to be told. And on the next meeting, you can put it on the agenda. I will expound on the truth. And I don't believe people around us are going to say like with a laughing stock. No, we need to all come together, take care of this and be done with it, so we can continue to move this town forward. And I'm going to leave it as that, because if I do say anything, then I'm going to jeopardize what Cullen said, then what she said, and what the mayor has said as well. So I'm going to put to heart is that, and abide by what he asked us to do, so we will not have any more problems with us going into court, because some of the things that have taken place really does jeopardize our case.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Just,
I mean, if there was something else, I did.
I have something else.
We can keep it open. I just figured.
I say no too, because that's how we did with those board members.
Well,
Go ahead.
Madam Mayor, this is positive. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the community, to Chief Kip in assisting with the fire prevention initiative. As you know, we were approved by the state to be the pilot city in the community in terms of fire prevention with smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms. We have given out, well, we've had access to 408 alarms, and at least 98% of those have been distributed throughout the community. One thing we have to do as a community is document where they are, you know, and the circumstances around, you know, what the home is like, and that's given to the state to get more money. Right now, we're on hold in terms of receiving more alarms, because we've depleted the stash, or so to speak, the allotment that we have, but they're going to order more alarms for Albion. Albion is going to be spoken of in a positive manner around the state for taking this initiative. So I want to say thank you. Those of you who have alarms, please document, and I'm told that they are being documented, so we can get more. This is a positive initiative. We've responded to this initiative, and I just wanted to say thank you both to the public safety as well as the community.
Great work, Councilwoman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Thank you, Councilwoman Davis.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All in favor, say aye to adjourn. Aye. Opposed?